Today we're going to be taking a look at Drini and Mr. Football 88. I wanted to re-look at this game, and the main reason why is because I think there's a lot that we can learn on how to be better on the defensive side of the ball from watching these two players play. These are two of the better defensive players in the world. Mr. Football 88 is coming off a huge win. He actually was able to beat Henry, who was the #1 seed coming into the Madden Bowl. And then Drini is not even supposed to be here. He's the number 13 seed coming into this game. He was in a play-in game against Fancy, last year's Madden Bowl champion, where Drini was actually able to win that game. And I just think it highlights how, these great Madden players, on any given day, anybody can win or lose a game. It really comes down to execution on your side, but also mistakes on the opponent's side. And I think there's a lot that we can learn about that in terms of deep diving these guys, specifically on defense. We're going to be taking a specific dive into the defensive adjustments for both of these guys, how they handle some of the things that each other bring to the table. Also, going to be taking a look at Drini's offense, tight doubles, one of the best offenses in the entire game. Real quick, I did want to let you know that if you're watching this video and if you're looking to get better at Madden, I've got something completely free that I think is going to actually add a lot of value to your game. It's our school community. We post free mini schemes, tips, tricks, breakdowns, a ton of route combinations. We actually write down, give you screenshots of the best route combinations in the game, as well as the best coverage shells. A lot of the things that we watch in this tape here are going to be written out on the site. So if you're looking to get better at Madden, completely free to join. Our school community is at the link in the description below. That's also where you'll get access to all of our ebooks. Everything you need to know to become a better Madden player is over at our school site. Okay, so first things first here, you're going to see that Mr. Football 88 is on defense. Drini is on offense. Drini is in this tight doubles formation. Primary threats here that we've seen Drini run throughout this tournament is you really got to worry about these outside receivers on quick flats, especially against zone coverage. And then the other thing here is that Mr. Football 88 is going to have a pretty good gap shoot to be able to potentially stop Drini's run game. So go ahead here and we'll just let it run. What you're going to see is Drini's going to go to base, gets blown up, but he does get to a hash. A lot of times these guys, they want to run the ball on the first play of the drive so that it gets them to a hash. Most people lab their offenses on short side or wide side because the game is played on hashes, is typically not played in the middle of the field. And so that's part of the purpose behind that run play right there. Here we're going to see Drini's first passing play. This is a combination that he ran a lot of, and I think it kind of highlights, it looks like here, just the way that 88's guys are blind, potentially a man coverage look. This was Drini's go-to man coverage beater. It also beats a ton of other coverages here. This is out of the play double stick. It has a really unique flat route to this outside receiver. Going to be really, really good against zone. And then you have man-beating concept here. You have a drag over the middle. You have a Texas route right here, and then you have this crosser. Now, the other thing you have against man-to-man is you also have this outside pass lead streak where you could freeform it to the leverage. You could freeform it outside or inside based on leverage. One of the other things that, kind of highlights here is any good combination in Madden and college football, they all stem from the same base point, which is having some type of clear out. So in this case, the streak is clearing out for the crosser, and then the flat is actually going to clear out for this drag route to potentially be thrown right here. So having some type of clear out, having a primary receiver, which I would say that the primary receiver on this play is really this drag. That's going to be the #1 after we kind of peek this out here. The alternate receiver, which is going to be the Texas route, that's going to be #2. And then really your outlet receiver, which is going to be like if they handle this 3-man concept over here, can we throw this alternate receiver or this outlet receiver over the top, potentially getting cleared out by this guy. So those are really the mainstays of any good passing concept, no matter whether it's streak, corner, flat, whether it's cross or drag Texas. They all kind of funnel underneath the same umbrella in terms of how the concepts really work. What's going to be interesting here is to notice what Mr. Football 88 is actually going to be doing on the defensive side of the ball. Also, really quick, I just want to highlight that on the first drive, you get a really good pulse for how the game is going to go. You're going to see kind of the fundamentals of both of their offensive and defensive schemes. That's why I tend to spend a little bit more time on the first drive. Okay, so at the snap of the ball, what you're going to see here is you're going to see that immediately you got a Tom stunt here out of the dime normal. So probably containing both of these ends. We're going to run a Tom stunt right here, trying to get this guy to loop. If you guys like to run 4-down lineman sets and you want to have essentially a dollar-ish type of 4-man loop, the Tom stunt is essentially that from a 4-down lineman set. And so that's what you're seeing from a pressure perspective. Now, if we kind of let this tape run a little bit faster here, you're going to see that this is Mr. Football 88's base adjustments for this defense. You're going to get an outside third. You're going to get a middle third. You're going to get an outside third more than likely. And I really want to highlight this coverage shell. This coverage shell is the most ran coverage shell. Typically, these flats are going to be at 10. What you might get, and it looks like here we get from 88, is you're going to get a curl flat on this side of the field, and you're going to get a hard flat driving down on the hard flat. Now, if we back this up, I want to explain kind of the ins and outs of why I think that Mr. Football actually decided to run these. So if we back this tape up just a little bit here, okay, so with the flat route, right? The flat route from Drini's offense, and this is one of the cool things that you learn about as you watch some of these guys play, and really try to slow it down and learn what they're doing, why they're doing it. This tight doubles has the tight end and the running back to the short side of the field. What that typically means is if you ran like a flat route right here, there's just not a ton of space for this guy to be able to run, right? He's going to catch the ball probably about right here. It's going to be difficult for him to turn upfield. The other thing is, let's say you wanted to get like another combo from tight doubles is a, kind of like a corner and a flat. Well, the reason that this combination would actually get defended pretty well by a curl flat is because this corner doesn't have a ton of room to actually run over the top of it. So here you're seeing Mr. Football do something really cool with his defense that I just think is really, really cool to learn from. And again, this is why, because you might go, well, if that's the most ran coverage in Madden, like why wouldn't you run it like this, right? And you could run it like this, and there's reasons to do that. But right here, if this is a curl flat, this flat is a first down every single time, okay? So what Mr. Football 88 decides is he's going to go hard flat, what looks like a curl flat or maybe a 10-yard flat here, outside third, middle third, outside third, and then the hook here and the hook here. Okay, so that's kind of the core of the why behind the what of actually what he's doing here. So as you see, what 88 is expecting, notice that this hook kind of backs up and goes to the middle of the field. I don't know for sure that he has his hooks on 5, and that's kind of why you see that hook kind of back up like that. So Drini, and this is how quick he makes this read, okay? This is, again, just inside the mind of good players and what they're doing. So you're going to see here, the first read is going to be out here to the flat. So he's going to look out here, boom, he sees this guy run. So immediately his eyes are really going to progress right in this space right here, because this is where the drag is ultimately running into. So what he sees is see that yellow just back up, just that little bit of backup right there. He automatically, look how fast he throws the ball to that route, gets out of there, and it's honestly a good defensive call by 88, good play by Drini, but it ends up being an 8-yard or a first down because 88's hooks are not on 5. They're not playing low enough to be able to defend that. Here you're going to see Drini go back to the run game, really trying to kind of get a sense, if you will, for does 88 have a good gap shoot. As you see right there, he wasn't able to gap shoot the run. He's able to get 4 or 6 yards on first down, put him in a nice second and manageable. The only thing negative to this is he does stay in the middle of the field. And now you're going to see 88 go to, Drini here go to one of his combos, what looks like a flood to this right side. You don't see this a lot from Drini, but why? Very interesting to wrestle with, right? Why would Drini call this play? Okay. He has a slot fade that he kind of stems up a little bit into a little bit of a unique way, but why call this fade? More than likely what he's anticipating is he's saying, okay, I saw what 88's base coverage is. Here's my counter play to that base coverage. And the counter play is really this little running back sneak route that will take this. If this is a hard flat, it's going to have to play this guy. The outside third is going to have to play the slot fade. And then Drini is able to basically throw this route. Now, that's the primary concept. Now, what he has on the backside is if 88's playing low hooks, he can throw this post right in this little pocket here. If he's playing high hooks like he was on the first play, he has this low read to the backside at return. So really nice combination from Drini. We'll see how it ends up working out for him. So as you see right here, hard flat right here, outside third. And then it looks like here 88 goes with like a little cover 2 hybrid play where there's no middle third on the field. So now if you're 88 and you're in this position, you have to switch here to go take this, or you have to switch here, which then you run the risk of this being a touchdown. So it's a really nice design by 80 or by Drini here. And you should see the corner get thrown here, and it is. And it's a nice play, and it's up to the 32-yard line. So right there, Drini kind of goes to like what appeared to be, like I said, like kind of like a Tampa 3 where we have the flats coming down from the corner, and then the more than likely the user was in a middle third, more than likely. Now you'll see Drini go with a short side combination here to attack this. He actually has it open, and he ends up going to the running back, and this kind of highlights, this is a very quick snap play here by Drini. Like if we watch the pacing, another thing that these really good players are going to do, they're going to snap the ball sometimes slowly or methodically, and then sometimes they'll snap the ball super quickly to kind of keep you off pace. So what we see here from Drini is he's going to come out and he's going to quick snap this. But again, why? Because what's the main coverage that you're seeing? The last 2 times Drini's passed, you're seeing this hard flat outside third. That's what you're seeing consistently. Well, when you're short side like this, because the ball's on this hash, okay, then you're short side like this, what you'll typically be able to do is now this hook will play the hook. This third gets put in a lot of conflict. This guy's playing a hard flat. He has to guard this drag. And then now what we're looking to see here is you're going to have the streak clear out this outside third. And really what Drini's looking to hit is this whole shot right here to this outside fade. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Mr. Football does from a coverage perspective. Now, again, like I said, what's the primary concept? Well, really, the primary concept here is actually this 3-man game over here, but this is kind of like the clear out game. You know, so really you're going to progress from drag to crosser to running back streak if this whole shot is covered, okay? So he's got a 2-man concept that he's then going to use a 3-man game on the back end, okay? So what we see here from an adjustments perspective, and again, notice you've got this hook, you've got this third, and then you've got a third over here, and then you've got kind of a curl flat defender user underneath. So it's literally the coverage that Drini wants. But what 88's going to do a really good job of here is he switches here, and then he switches here. Now this is throwable, but it's a tight window, and honestly, Drini kind of, if you will, he kind of hesitated just a little bit within this play instead of hitting this. But obviously all this in real time, and it's easier when you slow it down to see what's open. But if we backpedal this just for a moment, you're going to also notice that it looks like his user defender ends up kind of matching underneath as like a 3-rec maybe or something. And so you get this running back that's wide open. But the switch stick kind of appears to confuse Drini just a little bit. He hesitates, backpedal, and he gets to this a little bit late. But this guy was wide open for a long time. But I think Drini was really kind of trying to still fit in that whole shot when 88 switched over. So anyway, good play by 88 and able to kind of switch stick and protect that deep play. And it goes to kind of another principle for good defense is good defense. The best defense in Madden is actually really through switch sticking. And so you're going to see here, Drini goes back to that main combo, but 88, knowing where his defense is weak, he's able to take advantage of it. Now, real quick here, I want to backpedal the tape. Again, I want to highlight something that you see here. So 2nd and 10, we're kind of in a little bit of a different spot. You're still in the dime defense, but basically, you know, now we got wide side. So what you would anticipate is cloud. You would anticipate this coverage. But what 88 decides to do is he kind of does like a little cover 3 buzz, if you will, is what it looks like here. And this flat, it shows why this flat is such a threat, because as you see, he hits a flat route for an easy 8 yards. And again, this just kind of highlights the read progression, if you will. His first read is flat to drag. User is held in the middle because of this drag. So this is quickly throwable. Okay. Notice how fast Drini gets the ball out. Notice how quickly and decisively he's able to throw that specific play. That kind of highlights to me that that's one of his better plays going into this matchup. Whereas the play before, that's one of those plays where I call it like a constraint play. You notice that they're calling a specific defense, so you kind of call a specific beater, and you might not have repped that play as much. So here we go, 3rd and 2. Always a good thing to take a look at what they call on these big yardage downs here. And we'll take a look at what 88 decides to do. He is going to just do a base send 4, and then it appears like it's just that cover 3 cloud again, but this time he rotates it to the short side. So again, if you go back here, the main tendency has been flat this wide side guy to get this roll rotation right here. In this specific play, interestingly, he flats this guy. Why flat that guy? I'm not honestly 100% sure, because there's no real advantage. I'm trying to think through like what the actual advantage to be to flatting this guy. I don't think Drini has thrown a flat to the left all game, maybe even all tournament. And so anyway, you get here this, but notice what Drini does right before he snaps. He puts this guy on a slot fade and streak combo. So Drini effectively, and this is just what I think he just guesses right. I think he guesses that 88's going to get really aggressive in this flat, and he's going to potentially have this. Now, he still has good stuff in case he's wrong, but it's really interesting to me that, he kind of pops them in this cover 3. So what you see right here, cover 3 cloud rotation that we've seen all game. Notice the streak clears this out. This is throwable right here. And notice where 88's user is. He's actually in the middle of the field because I don't know if he meant to switch here and maybe just got messed up. But in general, it leads to a free touchdown over the top for Drini and a big, obviously, semifinal matchup for a lot of money. So a lot of stuff that we could learn from that first drive there of kind of what's actually going on. And also specifically, like defensively, you've got to know where your weaknesses are. And then another big part of defense is understanding where the threats are in the offense that you're playing. A good offense will be able to threaten the majority of the field. What you're really saying is, what are in a Madden game, you're also working off of what are the tendencies of my opponent? Where do they like to throw the ball? When the chips are down, what are they going to throw? And right here, obviously Drini breaks a little bit of tendency right there, goes to a little bit of a different play that we haven't seen. But also 88 kind of breaks tendency and goes to a covers. It's kind of interesting. So just really interesting to me how they choose to play those big downs. Now, coming into this event, I believe that 88 is in the Jaguars offensive playbook. Real quick for Drini, you're going to see that Drini is going to be in dollar, and his safeties are in Kansas to start this play, and we'll see him fix that in just a minute. But generally speaking, you're going to get this crossfire blitz right here, send $4, and then switch stick is kind of the main component of this. And Drini here individually runs these guys into the box, and 88's going to go to a lot of this bunch tight end weak with this flipped slot fade concept. So we'll see kind of what he's looking at in terms of his offense. But really, you have a clear out, you have your little slot fade, your underneath drag here, and then instead of a corner, he's actually using a wheel, and then your running back streak. So really your concept is you're looking at your slot fade, you're looking at your low read, which is this, and then you've got a clear out for your alternate, which is this guy right here. This drag or wheel is also going to clear space for the drag to kind of attack in this little hole area right here, okay? So you see here, Drini starts out send 4, and he kind of shows you the coverage shell from the jump that he's going to go to, which is a cover 3 buzz, which we'll get into a little bit as this kind of progresses through. But really, Drini won this tournament really because of his defense, right? And it wasn't flashy. I mean, this dollar, we've seen this dollar, but it was how he switched stick, how he played tendency and things of that nature. So right here, if you were to look at the concept, very similar to what Drini ran, just a slight variation with this running back flat here, but we'll see what Drini's deciding to do coverage-wise. So as you see right here, he goes to what I call just a cover three buzz shell. And I'm almost positive that his flats are on 10. But basically, you're going to get a hook, you're going to get a third, you're going to get a third, you're going to get a flat, you're going to get a flat, and then you're going to get a hook. Okay? And these hooks could be on 5. Now, as you kind of watch this rotation here, notice that Drini is able to close off this popular post really with this route right here. And then he's able to kind of midpoint, and he's able to take this concept away. He gets a great pressure from the DT, a throwaway, doesn't get an intentional, but that's because of the running back flat. And so now we're going to see a 3rd and 4. These players, you show me what you call on 3rd and 4th down, and I will show you your offense. What they call on these big downs, these 3rd and 4s, these 4th and 2s, that is what you really want to pay attention to. So what you see him do here is 88's going to go to a motion out running back. And he puts him on an out route. He might have meant to put him on a flat, but I think he put him on an out route for a reason. What's really interesting is he doesn't put this guy on a return, but he puts him on a drag, which is fine. But effectively here, what we're looking to get is he's looking to put this defender in conflict. This defender is going to struggle to get out here for the out route. So, and then if Drini, let's say Drini went with like something like this, now you've got the conflict with the slot fade and the hook. So different things that we'll see. We'll see what Drini decides to do coverage-wise here. And notice how fast 88 throws this quick out to the outside. It's basically instantaneous. Throws a quick out, turns upfield, and he's going to get a first down. Let me just highlight the coverage real quick. So you're going to get send 4 from above there. And it looks like we're still getting that cover 3 buzz with probably 10-yard flats from the looks of things. It might have been just a standard hard foot, but notice how difficult those guys, in a different way, Mr. Football 88, like Drini, is attacking the flats just in a little bit of a different way from a different formation. It's still really attacking the flats here. He's going to go to this RPO, really good RPO. Notice Drini, great switch on this. But I want to highlight this real quick. This RPO is ridiculously good because you have to basically pass commit to stop the RPO, or you have to insta switch to this guy. If you pass commit, the run is definitely a threat up the middle here. So you're going to see right here that he gets great run shoot here, and then he insta switches to lurk this route. So 88 has to check it to the back, and the back ends up getting bagged for a loss of 3 yards on the play. One of the other things that if you was watching this game, you're seeing that really the difference between the two schemes. Drini is going to largely he'll stay in tight doubles the majority of the game. Mr. Football 88's called, he'll call a lot of different formations from the Jags playbook, but really the formation that they want to run in Jags, I think, is more than likely the bunch tight end weak and the doubles. Those are the two main reasons to stay in Jags. And so you see him go to this right here, and we're going to get double drags across the middle of the field and a tackle for a loss 4. Notice the situational play calling. So 2nd and 13 here, it looks to me like Drini's hooks are just on default. I don't think that they're on 5. And so the reason for this is because he's going to say, I'm going to give you these 2. I'm not giving you this guy, or this guy. Like, throw the ball and let me tackle you for 5. And that's kind of effectively what you see. Like, notice the hook user here. Like, he's, taking away the major threats. And then he gives the underneath right here, and holds you to, a gain of 4. 3rd and 9 from the 41. And that was a pretty standard coverage from Drini so far. That cover 3 buzz has kind of been the main coverage that we've seen. We've not really seen him get into anything else. But on a 3rd down, what does 88 call? 3rd and 9. It's a big down in Madden. What do you call here? What does Drini call? More than likely, Drini's going to be calling a defense that's going to try to get you into a 4th down, because 4th down is the pressure down, and that's the down where you're most likely to be able to get a stop. Okay? So you see here, 88, he goes to kind of a variation of the same idea. He's got a slot fade, a post, a streak, a drag, and then a running back streak. So the main read progression is he's going to look to this post. He's going to look to the drag. and then he's going to look to the running back streak, and he has a clear out for the running back streak with the slot receiver. So let's see what Drini decides to call. He actually looks like he's going to check out of this and go to bunch tight end with 9 seconds. Bunch nasty. Goes to motion HB choice and insta snaps it. And that was not an open receiver, but he did complete the pass. So let's take a highlight here of what Drini does defensively. 3rd and 9. So 88 kind of just calls something. I'm really curious as to why. I think the reasoning is because he's anticipating the shell that Drini's been running, which is cover 3 buzz. And in this, you would have this little running back Texas would be a threat, and then your seam streak would be a touchdown. What Drini ends up deciding to call here is he goes to that cover 3 cloud rotation. So you'll see here, notice who he blitzes, by the way. Notice this positioning of this guy. It kind of stunts down, so it tells you Drini called cover 3 cloud. He doesn't do any looping here. He just sends 4. And then basically it's literally cover. I mean, it's as straightforward cover 3 cloud, something to this effect right here. So this third will guard this streak. This third is got to pay attention to this guy. And so as you see this kind of go through here, notice Drini switches to the corner. Everything's bagged. He switches here. The throw is going to go here, but he's getting pressured, and Drini's insta-switching it well. And 88 just kind of throws it, and he gets very, very fortunate. You see his reaction. You see Drini's reaction. Again, it's really interesting to me that in a high-stakes game so far from Drini, you've basically seen cover 3 buzz and cover 3 cloud. On 88 side, you've seen Tampa 3 and cover 3 cloud. So it really is just fascinates me. The coverages that we see at the highest level are still the coverages that, you can make them about as stock as you want them to be. There's a little bit of variation there, but generally that's what we're seeing here. Goes to the RPO. Dollar's going to do a pretty good job against the RPO comparative to like a double mug or something like that. 2nd and 8 from the 20. Obviously, another thing to really pay attention to, what do these guys call in the red zone, right? Really odd combo here from 88, but it actually was wide open. You're going to see a corner. You're going to see a little flat return, and then you're going to see that little slot fade trick right here. Probably like a real running back swing here. Notice Drini sends 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice the shell. Third. Safety coming down in a hook. User on a hook here. And then you've got flat 3rd. So it's a pretty good play call. And honestly, maybe 88's anticipating a switch right here. But this is definitely a throwing. This is a very nice route for that. Ends up cooking the defender. Has a touchdown, but gets just enough pressure. But honestly, kind of revealed a weakness of the defense that Drini ends up calling there. But now if you're Drini, you're in a really good spot. 3rd and 11, you can play defense in a certain type of way to push him into a 4th and 3. And typically that's what you'll see here. And notice how, they manage the situations. So like on 3rd and 11, he's not going to call 5-yard hooks more than likely. So he goes to Tampa 3, and I want to highlight what he does. And 88 gets busy with Milrow. He ends up getting up to the 4th and 3 situation. But I just want to highlight what you're going to see here from Drini. So you're going to get Tampa 3. So what Tampa 3 is, you saw 88 run it in some key situations. You saw Drini. He basically is going to put these flats more than likely on at least 10, if not 15. So they're going to drop back to about right here on both sides. Okay, that's going to take away anything outside. Then you're going to get these thirds, and then you're going to get the user in the middle of the field like this. And then you're going to have these hooks that are probably going to the sticks, more than likely. Okay, again, why would Drini run a defense like this? Main reasoning is because he's going to stop the corner routes. He's going to funnel everything to the middle. He's also going to be able to stop curl routes. And he's also going to be able to hopefully put you in a 4th and 3 type situation. Now, one of the other little things that he does here is normally you would send 4. But what Drini does is he actually, in this case, he just sends 3. And he says the one weakness of this shell is going to be a streak slot fade combo, which 88 calls. And so he mans this guy up to the slot fade. okay, to take that away. So as you see here, everything is covered. The user is in the middle of the field. You've got this, kind of deal here. You could throw this, but you're going to get tackled. And so what 88 decides to do is patiently step up, scramble, gets him on a 4th and 3, right? Drini hoping for a fumble. You see him saying that on the screen in the top left there. But now you get him in a 4th and 3. This is a pressure down. This is a money down. This is the biggest down of the game so far. What do they do? What do they do in these high stakes, high pressure situations, right? Drini's played just real conservative, balanced defense, gotten him down here, and now 88's going to try to go for it on this 4th down. We'll see what he decides to do. And he's going to motion out his running back. No, remember, he did that on the other, like, 3rd and I want to say it was a 4th down. It might have been a 3rd down. But anyway, he goes to this combo, and he gets an overthrow, and it's a stop. Now, I want to back up the tape and notice what you'll see here. One of the best things about Madden 26 in terms of defense, one of the big advantages that you have defensively is you will get good sheds if you have double or nothing on your D-line. Drini's going to have double or nothing on all 3 of these guys. And in this case, he's going to slant his D-line here, and he's actually going to spy this guy. This was a really popular strategy that he used on 4th down and shorts, specifically in the red area, and really just put zones everywhere, right? Now what 88's going to do is he's going to go streak, slot fade, and then he's going to have a mesh underneath, and then probably a corner. What he's really looking to throw is he's really looking to throw this right here, okay? That's the main thing he's looking at. And then if that's covered, his plan is to playmaker this guy up and throw that in that little pocket right there. Those are the 2 main things that he's looking to go with. We'll take a look at the coverage for Drini here. And if you notice here, Drini goes cover 2 across the board. And then he has kind of this weird little, I don't know for sure what this is. If we back this up, is that a safety on that? No, it's a slot corner. So, yeah, again, I don't know for sure what this is. This might be a deep curl flat of some type. But basically, the biggest thing is that you got cover 2 at the sticks here. You've got a hook here. Probably inside quarters here. And then, like I said, probably this guy's like an outside curl flat or something. So we see user here. And you're going to see that send 3. So you see low flats, low hooks, spy, 3 rec, what looks to me like a middle third, and then the tight end. You see how Burris is kind of guarding it. That's why I think it's a stemmed up curl flat of some type. And so anyway, the main thing that you're going to get here is this inside quarter takes this throw away. Can't throw that. So the only throw 88 has is he playmakers this guy up. And I don't know if he's trying to freeform it some type of way or what. But he just gets an inaccurate at the end of the day. It could be an under pressure inaccurate. Maybe have edge start a lead on this guy. But in general, you get an overthrow and you get a big stop on Drini's first drive. So far, we've seen kind of a consistent theme in terms of coverages. You're basically getting cover 3 cloud of one side or the other. And then from there, you're typically getting maybe cover 3 buzz and maybe some mix in cover 2. Right here, Drini goes to a play right out of the gate. Obviously gets a big stop on his first drive. Let's go ahead and highlight the play. You're going to see flat corner, return, kind of just a base play for Drini. Ends up really not working out and, has to, essentially scramble out of there and puts him in a 2nd and 7 situation. Ball on the 18-yard line. Obviously here, probably takes to the end of the quarter. And it's just so fascinating to me, like how these guys manage the game, manage situations. Their coverages aren't necessarily complex. Normally, especially in the switch stick era. But what they are is they're strategic, they're well-timed often. Those are kind of some of the main things that we're looking at. Notice here, 88 is going to change defenses. He goes to double mug. I believe that this was his best defense. This was the defense that he used to beat Henry, and we'll see what it's able to do against Drini. So right here, again, typically you're going to get still a cover 3 cloud rotation with 2 hooks underneath. These guys on the outside are really good at pass rushing and getting pressure. So we'll see. So it looks like you're going to get kind of a variation of this setup right here. And now what you're going to get is you're going to get a seam streak drag Texas like that. First read, always going to be this flat here on the left side. So as we kind of go, you see that guy backs up. He throws that quick flat. and he's going to get up there for a 3rd and 1. Just kind of off initials, you already kind of see, how even though Mr. Football 88 is in a quote unquote different defense, the matchup is still really similar in terms of the coverages, what Drini's doing to attack that coverage, and then what Mr. Football 88 has to do, which then opens up weaknesses within his defense. So that's just the part of the beauty of Madden and the chess match that it is Madden. You see here, goes to a stem down corner. I want to highlight this call here. So Drini actually flips into this. You don't see Drini called running back to the wide side a ton in his offense, but I did want to highlight, notice Mr. Football 88 goes back here to this dime, and it looks to me like he's going to run man coverage here. So it's a tendency breaker for 88. He's going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on this right-hand side here, as you're noticing, it looks like he has everything manned up. He has this guy on a flat to switch stick to. And then I think, let's take a look at this user, what the user job was. User is on the running back, as you see. He tries to switch to the corner, and it's a great job of having, a good concept in Madden will beat man-to-man naturally, and then you'll put pieces together to be able to consistently be able to attack zone. Here, Drini, you're going to go to chew clock. And the reason he's going to go to chew clock here is another big part of competitive Madden, playing Madden for thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, is clock management is super, super important. And what Drini really wants to try to do here is essentially play keep away from Mr. Football. He's already got to stop. He can score and potentially go up 2 possessions, which then puts him in the lead of the game at the second half. Now, what ends up happening here is actually really good for 88, and you're going to see that he's going to do a little dance after it. But let's go ahead, 2nd and 4. Again, you're seeing 88 stay in this dime, and let's take a look at the coverage that he decides to run. What are we going to get? Again, cover 3 cloud, but this time you're getting kind of like a little matchy type zone here, and so Drini makes the right read. He hits the running back flat, but this is why Drini never throws a flat to the running back side often. Because watch, it's a pretty slow animation. You get into a tackle battle here. Drini actually wins the tackle battle, which hurts him because then the extra guy pushes him backwards, and so much so that he spins out of it and gets knocked out of bounds. You see 88 go crazy there because what you're going to see is now it's going to be a little bit more of a difficult clock. 3 minutes and 34 seconds, 23, 3rd and 9. You're going to have to pass the ball. You're also in a little bit more of a long yardage passing situation. So we're going to see 88 play defense in a certain type of way. What'll be interesting is there is still some chewing that can happen, which he is going to do right here. But now you're going to see 88 go to double mug. More than likely, that's because he's going to try to blitz him, but we'll see what he ends up deciding to do. Double mug gets great pressure. The real question is, does it have enough coverage? So you're going to see here, and it also looks like he's going to man. Okay, and so you're going to see that Drini's going to call one of the weirdest combos I've ever seen, but it should, yeah. So very odd combination, right? Now, Drini's pass protection, another big part of these matchups, right? Half sliding to the left side. It could be it's not a full slide, but it feels like it, but I think it's just a half slide. This guard, but anyway, what you're going to see is this half slide normally will block if you send this blitz right here. This guy's the free player that 88 will switch on to. And then really it just kind of becomes down to, does the drag, Texas, or post get open? This route to Fox, super odd, but maybe just something for zone. And then you got a clear out streak. And you're going to get a delay a game, which puts him in a 3rd and 14. It doesn't really change the situation that much, but obviously 3rd and 9, a little easier than 3rd and 14. Drini might have even been trying to hike the ball there. You'll notice that Drini's going to go to the same basic play, and I lied. He's going to go to a completely different play. He'll go to that other play here in a minute. Is he not going to go to the same play? I thought this was the play that No, he's going to motion out on a wheel. Nope. Okay, let's make sure he snaps this, and then we'll cover what he's doing. And I think, yes, he is going to snap it. And you see, okay, so 88 goes to a spread D line double mug. Okay. Typically when somebody does this, and again, all this is happening, there's so much to break down here. But when you go to a spread D line double mug, it often is so that you can Texas stunt. here, 88 doesn't even do that. He just coverages out. Notice the coverage. You're going to get third, 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 cloud flat to the sticks, hook curl deeper back, user deeper back. And then over here, you're getting, kind of a send 3 look where you essentially there's an additional hook curl, and then the user is able to kind of essentially the coverage is hook, hook, 3 rec ish, and then something to this extent. Why call this? Again, he's just trying to get him on a 4th down. So he's just trying to call a coverage where the only thing that Drini can do is throw the ball in front of this 1st down marker. And what you see is Drini does it. He takes his wheel route, and now we get a 4th and 5. Again, pay attention to what they call in these big yardage situations, right? Drini's going to go to motion cross HB sneak because he's anticipating 88 is going to go to a man blitz. So what you're going to see here is now we're going to see that same combo that he was going to run on 3rd and 9. He's now actually going to run it on 4th and 5. So he kind of plays a little bit of a game here with this motion, but this guy's going out here. Notice he stems this motion up. Now you're seeing 2 drags. Now, why are we seeing that? Why does Drini motion this guy? It's actually really important. He's trying to get a man zone tail, I would think. So watch how, let's see, back this up just a little bit. Watch how many times he motions him. See that motion across? See this little movement right here? That tells Drini it's man coverage because it tells him that this guy is going to follow. And you can't hide that tell. So Drini now knows that 88's in man, is what I'm trying to get at, because of that motion. On a big down, Drini uses that. Now, you're seeing as well here, he actually doesn't half slide. And 88 bluffs the blitz, and he does a Texas 4-man. Drini does a really good job here of recognizing this. And at this point in the year, quarterbacks are fast enough that if you ever get a Texas stunt, especially a Texas 4-man, you could just roll out. So you see, he rolls out. 88's covering there. Nobody's on the running back. Running back's free. Just got to make an accurate throw. He's able to do so. And now the running back's up the field to about the 24-yard line. So just a little details there. It's actually a really nice job by 88, bluffing the blitz, going in a stunt, but loses contain and doesn't end up covering the running back because he's trying to put additional zones around the field to be able to help. The one other thing I wanted to highlight real quick, I forgot to mention this, that is actually important because it kind of highlights like how to play good man coverage, even though 88 gives this up. Let's highlight the man coverage he plays. So you see there, like you've got man. It's super difficult to show man adjustments sometimes, but basically you're going to get here man, and then you're going to get kind of like an adjusted zone almost where, normally what you're going to get in man is you're going to get a flat over here and a flat over here. And it just doesn't look like 88 plays that. It's super hard to kind of highlight exactly what we're getting here. But it really, to me, just screams 80. It really, to me, just screams like third, hook, and then you're getting kind of man on this side. Another big reason for the man right there is in case this guy's on a flat, the man will take that away. But yeah, you get kind of this real hybrid-y coverage over here that just loses all base coverage integrity, and the running back is just free. The user's having to switch on the post, which this switch is actually, like if you're Drini or if you're 88, would you drive down there? And he tries to get to one, but he's late. And so it just ends up being, 88 gets a little adjusty, maybe too adjusty in that situation. So Drini is able to get a first down. Then we get a first down and 10. Again, take a little breath of fresh air here, run the ball with Mitchell. Gets up to about the 20-yard line. That's going to take you to the 2-minute warning. Again, you got to remember that Drini is trying to clock this out. He's trying to, simply just clock the half out. So everything he's doing is really in relation to that. And it does look like 88 is pretty convinced, okay, now I'm going to get in double mug. And so you get a send 4, Drini up. That's about perfect for Drini right there pretty much. He goes to this. Again, just want to highlight the coverage because I think it's relevant. For how you're studying here. Hard flat, third, hook, cloud, hook. Okay, so really just playing the game off this guy. He backs up. You're throwing this little underneath route over the middle of the field. Gets up to about the 13. And now 88, as you see at the bottom there, he decides he wants to call his timeouts. More than likely, 88 is going to play defense now in a way where he's going to get really aggressive. Because of the situation, now it becomes a lot about clock management. So Drini's trying to play keep away, gets a really nice run there on first down, forcing 88 to take his second timeout. And really what Drini wants to ensure, 2nd and 3, I would assume he's going to run the ball one more time just to put him in a situation where he can take all of 88's timeouts. And then we're going to see what happens on that third down call. That'll be an interesting one to kind of see. But 2nd and 3 from the 7 here. Drini's going to set up his trips tight end flex as well. Playbook Drini's in is in Steelers, one of the best off-meta playbooks in the game this year. A lot of stuff you can do from it. As you see here, he goes down to a heavier formation, and he's going to try to run the ball. Because at this point, Drini's just trying to play keep away. So goes with Mitchell, and he gets the perfect amount of yardage to get that first down. Now you see 88 call timeout. Now right here, the reason that first down is so important is because 88 should not touch the ball again. More than likely, Drini will run the ball at least 2 more times, maybe 3 more times, get the clock all the way down. It honestly doesn't hurt Drini that much. If he wants to play extreme keep away, he could literally just take a field goal. He could pass the ball one time and then take a field goal and a half. We'll see what he does here. But he goes to QB sneak to he's not trying to score here. He's just trying to burn clock. 88's kind of trying to let him score just by the defense that he called. But he gets up to the 2nd and goal on the 1-yard line. Chew clock will be on here. And then he's going to get this down even more so. Shouldn't snap the ball until we're at 1 second. He is going to call QB sneak. And I'm really I guess right there, the reason for that play call is because 88 has to kind of stop it because 88 really can't give up a touchdown. He could give up a field goal, but not a touchdown. And so it's really an interesting position. Here, Drini calls hike at 6 seconds. His running back gets knocked out of bounds. I thought this was one of the worst things he could have done, but he's trying to score a touchdown. But one little thing here, he chooses to run the ball to the short side of the field, maybe gets better blocking, something he knows that I don't. I would rather, if I'm going to run this, I want to run to the wide side because then I have more space to be able to maneuver stuff. He also snaps this at 6 seconds. Obviously a little bit nitpicky here, but to me, it's clear that Drini's trying to score, right? But him getting knocked out of bounds is just worst case scenario. Tries to get around the edge, not able to do it, gets knocked out of bounds. Now you're 4th and goal from the 4, so now you can't really go for it. Because if you get stopped, then everything that you just spent the last 5 minutes doing in this game is all for naught. So I would think he's going to take his 3, go up 10-0, and then we're going to see what he's going to do here defensively. It'll be really fascinating to watch. But again, just love breaking down real specifically what they're actually doing on defense. It just fascinates me in the switch stick era, how people play defense in the game. It's so different than how it used to be back in Madden 24, Madden 23. So anyway, 10-0, Drini. We'll see what plays 88 decides to call. This is a really important drive for 88. He doesn't have any timeouts, so he's going to call plays kind of specific to that. He really needs 3, right? I mean, you obviously would love a touchdown, like busted coverage, get a touchdown. But really, you've got a plan that you really need 3 in this situation, right? To make Drini feel that mistake and to put yourself back in a good position here, even though you got stopped on your first drive. So right here, he's going to go back to his bunch tight end weak combination, and it's really this wheel streak, slot fade drag, running back streak. And we'll see what Drini decides to do coverage-wise. Notice now we're getting that rotation. So we're getting cover 3 cloud. Rotation here. He's saying, I don't need this hook curl. I'm just going to bop this guy in a flat. He's kind of playing a Mabel, if you will, over here. And then on this right side, probably a stemmed up flat zone with the user in the middle. Why play this guy on a flat instead of a hook? Primarily because he wants 88 to throw the ball in the middle of the field, right? That's the big reasoning. So you see good pressure. He gets 88 to throw the ball in the middle of the field. Pop back here just to see what 27 was on. Oh, okay. So he was on a hook. My bad. What Drini probably did there is he probably is shading the hook outside. When you shade those hooks outside, they're going to kind of fan out against things like that, and then they'll come back inside if there's no pull route. So motion dig under here. Again, notice the shell, right? This time, really odd decision here from Drini. Wide blitz. I mean, I guess, yeah, just a super interesting shell. He blitzes, no, he only blitzes 4. Okay, so he only blitzes 4. I don't know for sure what this coverage is. It looks just like cover 4 to me. Probably is cover 4, but Drini's probably planning to switch on, so it might be 2 middle thirds to switch on one of them. But nice read there by 88, gets upfield, but he's in bounds. So now if you're 88, you're in a pretty good spot to get your field goal. But what do you do? And he's going to go ahead and go to the spike, which that is a quick tip. If you didn't know, if you hold B or if you hold circle, depending on your console, you'll be able to no huddle into a spike, which is probably the fastest way to actually spike the ball. You can normally get up there relatively quickly. All right, so so here you're going to see short side bunch combo, double streak, then flip it again. Interesting. Why flip, flip, flip? Not sure, but we're going to get this kind of motion cross combination here. So we're super flooding, and we're really looking at this high-low. Double streaks here. I'm not sure exactly why we would double streak. Maybe try to just catch. I mean, this in route doesn't do a whole lot for you, but you could playmaker that. So kind of interesting to the double streak deal. Maybe if it's like we're anticipating this cover 3 cloud, we can get this guy to hold for a second and throw this. Not sure. But what you're going to get is you are going to get that cover 3 cloud, as you see here. Cover 3 cloud. More than likely, yeah, you see here you're getting like double flatted on this left side to take that flood away. And then let's see how these streaks kind of play in. Really no threat of throwing either one of these. And if you throw this, you're kind of popped. So you're going to see just a simple check down to the running back, almost a throwaway, almost an overthrow. Could have been problematic, but it is what it is. 3rd and 10 for 88. So again, right there, you just basically got a cover 3 cloud over the top of the bunch side with something underneath to kind of slowly somewhat deter the running back flat. And then on this play right here, you're going to get a motioned out running back route. So again, the biggest thing here is if Drini goes with that cover 3 buzz, this guy is a touchdown. So that's the main threat of the play. And then you have kind of some other stuff underneath here. Take a look at the coverage. Decides to go to a baby out route. I would think that means a little baby drag. But no, it's going to go corner. So if we backpedal this, you're going to get 1, 2, 3. And then, like I said, this could be an outside third. It could be a cloud. I think the purpose of the outside third there is probably just to help bomb-proof things, but not sure. So anyway, what you're really getting is flat, blitz, 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 hook, what looks like a little flat, maybe a deep flat, and then you're really just getting this cover 3 rotation here. So what you're seeing here from 88 is that tight end kind of runs his route super bad. He got bumped. Now this isn't as open as it would have been, and Drini's able to kind of hold on to that. 88 hits it, ultimately gets up to the 28, puts himself in a good position to potentially get points before half here. And he's going to go to tight doubles. He's in jag, so same formation Drini was running. And he's going to go to kind of an interesting call out of it. Let's take a look at how Drini likes to cover his own defense, his own offense. And it pretty much, I'm trying to think here. What is this safety? 3rd. So it's just this, basically. Notice that Drini doesn't even, he concedes the flat because he's just saying, I want to make sure, take away the big stuff. 88, ultimately, quick check down to the back. One of the things these guys do is what I think 88's trying to do is calling shot plays. And then if he doesn't have anything, he's going to get his check down quickly to try to get himself more shot plays to be able to be called. He goes motion HB choice here. Now, again, why really interesting to see Drini's adjustments. He decides that he's now going to rotate like this, which is really a good way to stop this play because this cloud will back up enough to take the corner. So Drini kind of guesses right there. We've seen Drini go to this way with it, but this time you get this. So just kind of a little bit of a change up here from Drini to protect himself deep. And he's able to do a really nice job. Blanketed coverage, 10 seconds, 3rd and 7 now. And we're going to go back to Bunch X Nasty. And kind of basically the same play and pretty much the same result. And now 88 is just going to take this field goal. And he does a good job. I mean, 3-10, really best case scenario for 88. If it's 14-3, if it's 10-0, a lot different of a position. But 88 goes into half in a pretty good spot. All right, so start of second half here for Drini and 88. We'll see what Drini, we'll see 88's perspective here. But he's going to go to Wild Trio close to start out the second half. And he's in the middle of the field, going to go to 0-1 trap, run the ball, and he's going to get popped right there by Ed Reed. Believe that in this specific game, Drini is rocking a 50 Ravens theme team. But generally speaking, you're kind of, why operate a theme team? Primarily optimizing for speed at DB or receiver. See what he does against doubles flex here. Haven't seen. And you see right here, notice 2nd and 8. Look at the shell that Drini decides to call. Against doubles, he goes to that Tampa 3. Okay? And it's really the same. And it's that you're seeing about 5 to 10, probably 5-yard hooks. Probably 10-yard flats, and then you're getting that Tampa 3 triangle, really, really helpful for defending. Really, that's the route that you're throwing, but does a really nice job here of taking away throwing lanes. And 88 trying to throw something, almost a bad decision, almost a really bad decision as he, isn't able to catch the interception. By the way, if we just backpedal just briefly here, another thing that's really interesting is Drini's not really looping. He's just blitzing this guy straight down. Literally just blitzes that guy straight down to get a send four. The purpose of that send four is you're going to get a one-on-one on both defensive ends. That's really all you're seeing him do. This is what's wild to me is like both these guys are like, super top tier knowledgeable about the game. And you're seeing that, at the highest level, it's really cover 3 cloud, cover 3 buzz, Tampa 3, and then every now and then maybe mixing in something a little tendency breaker. But it's really this coverage right here. It almost gets him again, and we missed that because of the broadcast doing this little split screen stuff. These are plays that I don't think 88 even wants to be calling. I mean, when do you see like a Y-off trio motion the running back over to block him? Like what? Against Dollar, of all things here. We're blocking the running back against Dollar. Why? But notice Drini goes cover 3 buzz. Okay, cover 3 buzz. We got the 5-yard hook, and then we have probably the 10-yard flats on both sides. Yeah, kind of gets low and then kind of drifts back. Does a nice job here, and just uncomfortable. Just super uncomfortable. Drini didn't even switch on that play. I don't think he switched sticked a single time on that play. Watch Drini's user. He doesn't do anything. He switches at the very end for really no purpose. Boom. And it just kind of highlights, I think in the switch stick era, one of the things that we're seeing at the highest level defensively is calling good coverages and then making the opponent beat themselves, right? Not getting too adjusty that you give your opponent a free touchdown. But having a good disciplined coverage that if your opponent messes up, makes a mistake, doesn't take the check down, whatever, they beat themselves because you're now on a 4th and 8. You're now on a 4th and 8. Really difficult to convert here. We'll see what 88 calls. It's probably going to be motion HB choice. And I am a prophet. Motion HB choice. And it's a cage. But he gets a legal contact. Okay, so tendency breaker time here for Drini. He's going to do something really fascinating to me. But instead of blitzing this guy, he's been blitzing this guy all game. He's now going to blitz this guy off the edge on a contain. What is the purpose of that? The purpose of that is, if you remember the last like third and long or longer situation, 88 really got the first down by rolling out with his quarterback. This is going to prevent a rollout to this side. You're going to have to roll this way or you're going to have to step up. So I think that's the main reason behind this contain. The other thing is you're going to get, look, Tampa 3, hook curl, users in the middle third. Okay, so you see in slot corner, he's going to hold a nice contain here. And so really there's no throw. There's literally no throw. There's nothing open here. Nothing open. And for some reason, you get an illegal contact and you see 88 give you the symbol as he did when he agged him on the other situation where it should have been a pick. And Drini's even going to pause the game to think about things. He's going to think about things. He's going to check the DMs, see if anybody else saw that, maybe change the song. But ultimately, got to stop him again, right? If Drini gets that stop right there, the game's effectively over. Okay, another little thing here. Gap shoots, very important. Drini knows that 88 loves to run outside zone out of here. Everybody does. This is a really, really good formation for this run right here, okay? So he's actually going to click onto the safety and bring the safety in the box. So what coverage can he call? 99% certainty that you're going to get something that resembles this right here, okay? See if 88 passes. He's not. He's just going to run the ball. Drini going to try to blow up the run. And 88's going to do a nice job. Gets a couple yards. And we're in a pretty shaky spot here on the first drive of the second half. And 88's been pretty not bagged, but like, yeah, it's been a pretty good defensive game from Drini here. You're kind of seeing like third, and honestly a pretty bad offensive game on 88's part. But now you're back to this shell. Hook, boom. This is the shell of the year. Notice that the cover 3 cloud is rotating over the 2 receiver side, not this side. Why? Because the seam streak threat is this guy. And then if you're in cover 3 cloud over here, this is a touchdown. Okay, so you're seeing boom, boom, boom. Very interesting, but very just important note. And does a nice job, hits that nice drag. But it's cover 3 cloud and also specifically cover 3 cloud to the right side. Every now and then he's kind of mixing up a flip of that cover 3 cloud. But here he's going to get him on a 3rd and inches. And you see bringing the safety in the box, he's really kind of gambling on a run. That probably means, by the way, if he passes, you're going to get something, something like this as a shell, okay? But what you ultimately get is 88 is going to run the ball and he's going to call timeout. This is wild. This timeout call, 3rd and inches, you've got 10 seconds left to do something, pivot a different way. But this will bring the safety down, just completely messes with him. And boom, you get a timeout, a second half timeout called with less than 2 minutes into the second half. Never something good for the offensive player. Like, you never want to call your second half timeouts. And actually, maybe Drini called. Who called that? Who called the timeout? Okay, so 88 called it. So Drini must have called a timeout when he got him on the 4th and long earlier on in the drive. But anyways, let's go ahead, get up here to the 3rd and inches. He's going to go spacing switch for his bread. Yep, going to go spacing switch. Love this combo. I love this combo right here. Deep curls, drag, return, spacing switch. There's so many things you have to do to stop it. Let's take a look at what Drini does. So again, a tendency breaker, big down. What's Drini doing? He blitzes off the edge. Flat, third, flat. What looks like a cross man of the tight end, really interesting. But anyway, flat. That's not a hard flat. And so when it's not a hard flat, guess what? Spacing switch is free. I was shocked how little spacing switch was called, when spacing switch forces hard flats and just opens up all kinds of other stuff for you, but we didn't actually see a ton of that. Gonna go to a draw here. Just check down into a run play and get the nice run. Why do they run draw? They ran draw because draws are hard to shoot. Doesn't really matter which one. Bunch Tight End Week has a draw. Wild Trio Week has a draw. They all have these draw plays, and these draw plays are really, really effective at being able to stop the main way that people want to play run defense. All right, so 2nd and 3 here. You're going to see him go to a kind of an odd combo out of this Wild Trio Week. Kind of a cool combo. Actually has a touchdown. Missed the read late. Let's take a look at Drini's adjustments as you see right here. I don't know what this adjustment is at all. It was a super weird zone. I think it's a hard flat that he stemmed, and it's supposed to be out here because you basically have cover 3 buzz, right? Generally. I just thought it was a super weird adjustment on that slot corner. Again, I'm not 100% sure what he ends up doing. It almost looks like something just doesn't click here. I don't know for sure what this was. I want to say it was a hard flat, and this is a glitch route by 88 to get a corner route, and this hard flat never plays that. So anyway, if you're Drini or if you're 88, this is throwable, but you see the switch here. And Drini kind of does a really good job. He's kind of got here. But what Drini does is he switches on it. He fakes to the corner, goes back to the slot fade. Really advanced tactic by Drini to kind of midpoint and cover both of them. And then because 88 doesn't call this play a lot, he misses the read. And you're going to get a 3rd down and 3. He gets stopped right there. Even though he had a touchdown or a first down to really either one of them, he double clutches because of Drini's switch stick. And now you get him in a 3rd and 3. All right, so right here, 3rd and 3, you're going to see 88 is going to go to this little RPO right here. Just a couple things I wanted to note about the RPO. Specifically here, number one, running back on the left side, so you're going to get a little bit more time to actually throw the ball. But the biggest thing here is in dollar. As you notice here that Drini is using this linebacker, it's going to make it really hard for this guy to actually make this play. Another thing that I would assume is that 88 untargets this linebacker right here. That might be what he's about to do. But anyway, as you see, just perfect blocking, get out there. Drini kind of falls asleep at the wheel and doesn't play the RPO. And he's going to move up to the 16-yard line. Now, first attempt from the 16, always really interesting to see what are these guys going to be doing down in the red area. This is where really a lot of Madden games are ultimately decided. What are your best plays down here to guarantee that you're going to be getting 7 instead of 3? You're going to see here 88 is going to go to motion dig under, kind of a unique little variation of it here. But basically, you're going to get a flat, you're going to get a slot fade, a streak. And then what I like to do is like a deep out route, but I think 88 just keeps the streak right here. And effectively what his read is he's got the running back to the short side, meaning that this slot fade, if you run cover 2, you're going to be able to throw this whole shot right here. If you don't run cover 2, so let's say you run like something like this, then typically that means that you're going to have kind of a coverage like this, where this little angle route will be wide open in this little area, or this seam streak up to skinny. So a couple different things that you're going to be looking for in terms of what he's going to do. Notice that Drini runs a send 4. He's going to run a third, hook, flat, and I would assume an outside third here on the outside. Actually, he clouds, and so 88 will have a touchdown over the top here. He actually decides to run basically cover 3 buzz, but then just has this guy in a cloud on this backhand side of the play. And you see 88 misses a wide open touchdown, overthrows that, probably high pointed it, trying to just make sure, these are high stakes games. You don't want to make any mistakes. You want to limit how much you even give an opportunity for harm's way. And so I would assume there that he is calling that and highballing that specifically just to kind of prevent any kind of potential switch stick. But it ultimately ends up costing him because of what you just saw right there. He's going to go to tight doubles here. This is, the formation that obviously Drini's in on the other side of the ball. We'll see what Drini likes to do defensively against this formation. And you're going to see there's that Tampa 3 kind of outside thirding with the fan out of the clouds. So effectively, this is just cover 2 across the board. And then you have outside thirds probably, and then a deep middle third or middle half, or a middle third or mid read, probably middle third. with a back with a spy there or a 3 rec underneath. So kind of an eight man coverage. And, you see that a lot down here in the red area, just kind of like blanketed coveraging. Again, another overthrow for 88. And that's really 2 touchdowns. The first one was a little bit worse. The second one, it definitely happens sometimes when those receivers stop on the sideline like that. You're going to get that kind of overthrow type of situation. So, anyways, that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10. Got to have it down here for 88 because you see here, 3-10. If 88 settles for a field goal and Drini's able to make it 17-6, now you're in a 2-possession lead with very little time left. So this is probably 4 down territory for 88 here. So we'll see what he ends up deciding to do offensively. Going to go back to motion to gunner and really going back to that same exact concept that he had the touchdown on before. Again, looking for this little cover 2 beater, as Drini has shown the previous 2 plays that he's basically going to be running cover 2, especially with this guy right here. So we'll see if Drini decides to kind of change up his coverage as well here on a big down like 3rd and 10. So you're going to get this hover here, a little motion out now and kind of tweaking the combo just slightly. And now you're going to get kind of a mesh over the middle with a stem down corner, really kind of highlighting, if this guy backs up, you're going to potentially see this running back underneath. If this guy stays down on the running back, then you might get this corner over the top. I will say, I thought this was kind of a odd combination, specifically on a 3rd and 10 and in this area of the field. We'll see what ends up happening as a result of it. And so as you see right here, Drini is able to, and you're going to see it, it's basically there's that cover 4 almost with a hook. He doesn't really need a cloud defender over in here. And so you see here, see how this is able to kind of like appear to cover this, even though it doesn't actually cover it. It is covering it, if you will. So now you're going to have this drag. You're going to have this mesh here. But really, at this point, send 4. And effectively, it appears like we're getting cover 4-ish with a cloud, a hook, and then we're having an additional hook zone right in this area of the field. So it's effectively Tampa 2 with the 2 quarters, and then probably just an outside 3rd or outside quarter over here. But what you're going to see is really, really solid defense. 88 has to throw the ball away. And now you kind of have to settle for 3, because if you don't take 3 here, you really put yourself in a bad spot. It's really bad both directions. It's bad if you settle for 3, but it's also bad that you have to take 3, because now Drini has the ability to now make this a 2-possession game in the back end of this. And, there's a lot that's happened throughout this game, but ultimately what we've seen consistently is Drini's ability to hold Mr. Football 88 in the red area is really what has kind of determined how this game has really gone. 2 minutes, 25 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, about 8 minutes, just under 8 minutes left in the ball game as a whole. If you're Drini, this is a put-away drive, or this is you really kind of put your foot on there, put foot on the gas pedal here. Probably just, you're going to see Mr. Football 88's best stuff defensively, but you're also going to see 88, he's going to need to get a stop. The other thing about this is you notice there that Drini decides he's going to put shoe clock on. This is a pretty advanced, I think, strategic move by Drini to put shoe clock on this early. Number one, he probably doesn't feel like Mr. Football has got a chance at stopping him, even though right there he almost did, and then Drini just made a crazy throw. Let's take a look at the actual play right there as Drini trying to get it sticky here with Sketch. But I want to highlight the coverage that you see here. So I thought this combo was kind of odd. It's basically just a really odd combo to me. But it's such a Drini combo. We're gonna get a streak. We're gonna get like a little flat. We're gonna get a drag. We're gonna get a stemmed up curl, and then we have a stem down post that's gonna essentially be like a slant almost, a little bit deeper than a slant. And then from 88, what we're gonna get adjustment wise here is really just a straightforward third, cloud, hook, curl flat probably, and then the hook in the middle of the field as well here. But notice that, everything kind of breaks down, doesn't get the pressure that he wants to. Drini's able to buy time in the pocket, and you see here that, this just kind of is a broken play, but ultimately ends up working out. So good defense by 88 initially, but not able to keep the quarterback in the pocket leads to a little bit of an extended play where the defense just breaks down, especially in Madden 26. You're not going to be able to cover for that long. So Drini is able to put himself in a good position. Now for Drini here, if you only get 3, you're still in a quote unquote winning position in this game. And so we see here coverage from 88. It appears like it's that Tampa 3. Let's just kind of highlight the coverage specifically here. You're going to get a send 4 with a Tom stunt. You're going to get what it looks really much so like a cover 2. Let's just kind of see the zone distribution. It might have actually, I think it might have just been man. It was kind of difficult to just discern there, but Drini able to score on him and catch him. So as far as the combo for Drini here, right, real simple short side combination. Got a deep corner, got a flat, really playing the game off that flat. And then on the back side here, we've got kind of a levels combination, but really this guy backs up and it's just a layup throw. Now the crazy part is he's able to get out of there, get sticky, and that's really unfortunate for 88. Now I wanted to highlight, kind of one of the things about what you're seeing schematically here is Drini's in what's considered like the winning position, if you will. And the reason for that is even if 88 scores, this game is really easy to get 3 points in. Very, very easy to get 3 points in. So if you're Drini, even if you had to settle for 3, then you give 88 ball back. You're going to be given the ball back with about 4 minutes to go, and you're tied. That's still a really good position to be in. So if you're Drini right there, that's part of why the chew clock decision, because he's able to just kind of trickle that clock down, give 88 the ball back. 88, even if Drini settles for 3, has to go get 7, which he hasn't been able to do yet. And it's, so anyway, that's kind of the idea behind it. Here, 88 going to start trying to go for a big play, big bomb play up top, and nothing really doing there. I want to highlight the coverage that Drini ran as he does dump it down to the back. But I just want to highlight, again, situational defense here from Drini, right? Curl flat, deeper hook curl now. We're not playing 5s. We're getting those hook curls back a little bit more. We got a cloud, and then we got third. And so the reason why this is really good is this is normally a cover 3 beating play. But what you're going to get right here is you're going to get this deep half or third. He plays this streak, which means the middle third can play this, which means the user can play this. And now the big play potential for this play, as you see, because like normally you would want to throw this here, but this third's doing a really good job. 88 does a nice job here of playmakering the running back into open space and just taking what the defense gives him in a nice little spot there. But it does highlight, the coverage from Drini being really, really effective here out of Dollar. Dollar's widely considered to have the best coverage every single year, primarily just because of the position that people are in. They're just in good positions to actually play the zones that they are guarding. And you're going to see here a doubles combo. And one of the things 88's trying to do right now is he's really trying to push the ball down the field. So you got a streak, post, streak, drag, and then probably wheel of some type. Let's take a look at what the actual combo is here. And then again, you're going to get third, purple, hook, cloud. So it's just cover 3 cloud straight across the board here. Notice that the cover 3 is on the running back side of the formation. Really interesting. And then, you get the nice coverage from the user there. Second down and 10 from the 39-yard line. 47 seconds left in the third quarter. Again, just highlighting the position that 88's in, down 2 scores, about to enter the fourth quarter. You're going to have to see, 88's going to have to go score, but he's also going to have to get an onside or hold the 3. I thought this play was really an interesting one. Streak, a flip slot fade, a standard slot fade, and then a flat. Really what you're looking for is this is very throwable against that. And then what I would think is this is going to give cover 3 cloud a little bit of trouble. We'll take a look at how it actually ends up happening here. But as you see, you get curl flat, hook. This looks like a hook running to the middle of the field. You get a cloud. You get that outside third, which will guard this because it's to the wide side of the field. The middle third will go guard this receiver. But then this is kind of the throw where this guy has to go make a play. So we'll see how that ends up happening. But it's a good job of switching. So as you see, he switches here. He switches here just enough. And what you should see is that middle third should KO this or swat it, as you see right there. Could have been an interception. And that's one of those things where one of the little subtleties that Drini does here, by the way, that's really valuable if you ever defend a bunch formation like this, where you're rolling your cover three cloud like this. Notice that Drini here, he's on the user. He sees, he knows the weakness of his coverage, right? He knows the weakness is this. So what he does is he switch sticks right here. He runs him into position, and then he actually switches here, which is kind of an odd switch. I would have thought switch here to go take the crossfade. But anyway, ends up working out, and he gets that swat, and now we get him in the 3rd and 10. And this is the other thing that's kind of been consistent of this drive so far. You know, Drini's playing defense in such a way that is really kind of limiting the big play and keeping everything in front of him because of the situation, because he's up by 2 scores, because there's only 6 minutes left in this ball game, because of some of the things of 88's kind of consistently not taking his underneath. These are some of the reasonings behind that. Love this combo. He's going to go back to this trips combo. And let's see if we can highlight the actual coverage that we actually get here. And what you're going to see, again, is really just basic cover 3 cloud. Cover 3 cloud, got a curl flat there, kind of working that sideline. And you see, really nice. Now, because he's running this to the wide side, the cloud will take the corner. The roll third will take this, and then the middle third will be able to midpoint the tight end. Really nothing available to him. He's going to have to scramble up with Milrow. Does a nice job of doing that, and he's able to get a first down out of that play. But you saw just really beautiful coverage. Again, that cover 3 cloud, that rotation over the top. That cover 3 cloud is so good when you're rolling it over the wide side if you can handle the seam streak with the middle third. So here again, and I mean, this has pretty much been right here. It looks like he goes to cover 4. It's kind of hard to tell. I actually think what he does here is, because again, 88 has tried to bomb pretty much every play this drive. So what you're going to get is you're going to get that curl flat here. You're getting the sim 4 underneath. And then it looks to me like this could be a soft squat that maybe matches this guy, but I don't think that's the case. I think he just has him in a quarter. He has this in a half or a third. He has this in a roll third, and then he has this in a third. Could be a cover 4 quarters type of thing where he's getting some kind of, but you're getting this hook right here, and really this is just, look at this umbrella coverage, 4 deep, basically saying just take your underneath, and Mr. Football 88 is really just not doing that, and he is going to scramble up for 4. But again, he's taking a lot of time on this drive, which is really ultimately what Drini's plan is here. He's just trying to keep everything in front of him. And this is why also, if you're playing offense in this situation, sometimes it's better to take your checkdowns if you can get out of bounds consistently. But here he's going to go back to the super bomb. Really nice play. We'll take a look at the coverage shell. And this is a Tampa 3, and you're going to see 88 is going to pop him. So Drini was playing really, really good defense. I felt like this was kind of a bad defensive play call. It's just unnecessary in this situation. 2nd and 6, 9 seconds left. But basically what you're going to get here, the reason why Tampa 3 is a little bit of a call is how good this play does at burning it. And you see right here, the conflict player, and really it's honestly nothing more than like a bad switch, I feel like. But I do feel like it could have been a better coverage call. Notice that this cloud is locked right on the yard marker, okay? So he's not getting too much depth. He's a little bit of depth, but really not too much depth. But really you're getting half, third, what appears to be third, and then you're getting, your kind of standard underneath coverage. The reason this is a negative play call, though, ultimately is this guy has to defend this guy and this guy, which is really hard to do. Really what you want to do is you want to switch right here and drive on this outside route. But notice, and Drini does that, but he's kind of delayed. See how the user, and he must have not had his user in a deep third, because notice the user runs back to the middle of the field. So maybe that's also why he switched a certain way. But really, if he drives here, and if this is the middle third, you'd be in a better position. But I just thought, he kind of just gets got. And the thing is, 88 was bombing every single play that drive. So I just felt like, you didn't have to do all that. Could have just been in that basic cover 3 cloud and probably been in a pretty good spot to be able to handle that play. The Tampa 3 is really, really good, but one of the weaknesses of it is if that user does not get back in the middle, you really gotta you only have two safeties deep. So anyway, here we're going to see a 2-point try from 88. He's going to come out in this quads, but he is going to audible over to cluster, and he's going to run quick base. Pretty good run against Dollar, but right there, not good enough. And he's going to get stopped. This also kind of highlights, Dollar being a pretty good run defense this year and able to shoot majority of shotgun runs. Base is not that great of a run, so I was surprised 88 probably felt like he had a good look for it, but obviously at the end of the day, he didn't. And we'll see what 88 is going to do defensively. Now, if you're Drini, you're still in a really good winning position here. Now, one of the things, if you remember 88's game to how he ended up beating Henry, was really in an overtime situation where he had to go for 2 to get to overtime. It's kind of shaping up similar. And so if you're Drini here, 3 is not necessarily bad because you're going to put yourself up by not only a touchdown, but a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And 88 has to play defense in a certain type of way here. He's got to be a little bit more aggressive. But what you're going to see starting out is looks like a cover 3 buzz almost coverage here. And hits that running back up to Skinny. And he's going to get out of there with Mitchell. And this is where you just go score. You just try to go score here. This is, and he gets kind of caught here. It's not necessarily terrible for 88 that he catches him here because he could get Drini. He could stop Drini here. So it's not necessarily terrible for 88 because he could stop Drini here. But Drini, this should be at least 1 or 2 runs back to back. Good run defense right there. And the other thing is, again, 88 only has 2 second half timeouts. This is where you kind of see why you really don't want to waste or use those second half timeouts because especially when you're in a little bit of a losing position from halftime on, those second half timeouts are so precious. But anyway, here Drini, and you see right there, Drini some clock management. He decides to slide. Now let's highlight the coverage here. Kind of an interesting coverage. You're going to get cover 2, basic hard flats, but notice these are inside quarters, I believe, on these safeties. But the cover 2, actually that might have been a half. It's kind of a man up here. But it's just cover 2, if you will, with a man up. These guys are shaded underneath, so playing super low. This could be a free formable throw here, but it's not enough of a wheel, as you see. This guy's running into coverage, and so the play just breaks down. Drini, wisely, though, he slides, which means he's going to take a loss of about 13 on the play, 12 on the play. But he's going to be able to keep the clock moving. And that kind of highlights also Drini's strategy here. Because, again, Drini's going to be able to remain in the winning position even if he gets held to 3, especially if he leaves himself enough time to be able to get a field goal if 88 actually does go down and score a touchdown. And so right here, you're going to see that Drini's just going to concede that. He's going to run the ball. He's actually going to get out of there with Mitchell. And he's going to score, which is massive. That score is huge. But notice he was really just conceding. Now, why was he able to score there? More than likely, 88 pass committed. More than likely, he probably pass committed there. But, that's very much so a very common thing that Drini will do in situations like that. Get you to place where you're going to be a little bit over-aggressive, selling out for the pass. He's just going to run the ball. If he gets stopped, he gets a field goal, and he's still up by 8. If he doesn't get stopped, as you saw right there, he gets a touchdown. And now he still kind of keeps that 2-possession lead where he is, just in complete control of this game so far. So 3 minutes left for 88, 3 minutes left in 88's season. Be interesting to just kind of dissect what he does down the stretch here. What are the things that he decides to go to on this drive? But it's going to be the super bomb. And so it is kind of worth it to me to just kind of see what Drini ultimately does to stop this. But this is the play that he wanted to run. So notice, now look what Drini doing. It's straight cover 3 cloud every single time. And it should be here. You get the blitz linebacker. Notice this outside third will take this. The middle third will take this. And then this guy is going to be taking the crossfade. So, it's a super bomb, but there is an easy solution to defending that. And it looks like this might have even been a soft. I'm not sure what that may have been, an outside quarter, maybe just trying to be super good. And 88, playmaker, over the middle, intercepted, Plaxico Burris. And now you're going to see, really the game start to kind of wind down here. You're going to see first down run from Drini, timeout from 88. Now, if 88's able to hold him to 3, you're still within 2 possessions. So you're a touchdown and an onside kick away from a shot. So we'll kind of see how this all plays out. But yeah, Mitchell, nothing doing there. That should be another timeout. Now you've got all of his timeouts off the board, which basically means if you're Drini, you're up by 2 possessions. I would think you go for it on 4th down. This is like the biggest play call of the game, 3rd and 13. If Drini gets a first down, the game is over. And so you see here, he's going to go with that double slot fade, hits the tight end drag. Now you get him in a 4th and 3. Be curious to see if Drini goes for this. I would think this is not a bad go for it. The reason being is you're still up by 2 touchdowns if you don't get it. But if you get the first down, you literally just win the game. The game's over. However, Drini's been playing amazing defense throughout this game. So there are just different things to think about. You could ultimately take a delay of game if you don't like the look. Here you're going to see 88 goes to double mug. Biggest play call of the game here so far. And this is kind of the standard combo Drini likes to run here. He's going to blitz literally everybody. He ends up screaming at him here. And I just want to highlight, what he does situationally. So if you're Drini, this, I would think, would make a little bit more sense to be your first read. But normally when people blitz, this is just the stockest cover 0 ever. He's on the safety. He's literally creeping on the safety here. And again, maybe looking to this free form, but there's just nothing open fast enough. And the blitz screams right up the middle. This is the open receiver, but it's really hard to get there. Good job by 88 running this guy down, using this guy, literally switch sticking out of a cover 0, able to get a stop there and give himself one more opportunity. There you see a little bit of Drini zone drops, the 15-yard flats, the 10-yard hooks when he wants to play that conservative shell. Those are the zone drops that he's utilizing. I would assume that the main zone drops he utilized in his every down defense are 5-yard hooks and 10-yard flats. But you'll see here again, 88 going to a super bomb. This should be a drag on the running back. I'm surprised he put him on a streak. But this is, and now you're starting to see this thing get bagged up. So again, if someone's ever using this bomb on you, it's pretty good defense for it. And it's just a coverage shell. So you're sitting 4, but really it's just cover 4 across the board. You're going to handle the bomb, and then you're just going to lurk the middle. That's what it kind of seems like here. Yep, you see get that turn, and yeah, that's just a basic cover 4 drop, send 4 out of a cover 4 shell, and then, just kind of saying you can have anything in the middle of the field, but those flats are going to be back to about 15 yards, which will take away most corner routes in this game. We'll see who's going to now decide to go to trips tight end, goes to a super bomb out of trips tight end. And I mean, really, this is also just kind of highlights, when you get down in the game, you don't have to, 88, I feel like if you really look at the second half, and he was definitely in tough positions, ultimately it just felt like, especially down the stretch of this game, he kept trying to get it all back in one play. And he actually hit the bomb, but he kind of put himself in a very one-dimensional position offensively, which is never, ever good, especially when you're playing somebody of Drini's caliber. He's just going to be able to take away the big stuff and force you to take the underneath. So here's a little cover 3 buzz out of doubles. There's another book, and Everett's going to take that away. And now you're literally he does have the 2-minute warning for clock stoppage, but this should be, single back deuce close. I thought it was interesting that Drini decided that single back deuce close was his kind of game-ending formation. It was also the primary running formation that he wanted to use in the red zone. I didn't think single back deuce close there wasn't much to it, but it actually was very effective. It was very difficult. 88's trying to stop the run, not able to do so. Drini's going to get that first down, and that is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, I'd encourage you to check out our school community. Link will be down below.